Alrighty, boys and girls, today we are going to be talking about roof racks. As you can see, I've got mine right here right now, but we're going to make a quick change and talk about what I'm going to be running from now on, because this setup's going to change just a little bit. Alrighty, we've got ourselves a brand new baseline overland roof rack. This is a quote-unquote prinsu style, skeleton style roof rack, basically the same as what I've got here, except it's a little bit beefed up. This company is super cool. They're based out of Colorado, and they kind of primarily make racks and bumpers for older, like square body Chevys and GMCs and stuff like that. And everything they make is quite beefy, as you can imagine, for vehicles like that. So they took all of that, all their knowledge for those kinds of roof racks and put them into this design to make something a little bit better for us Crosstreks. This is for specifically 2013 through 2017 Crosstrek. It should also fit 12 through 16 Impreza, but nonetheless, I've been running this prinsu for, 3 or 4 years, and overall, it served my needs. You know, I've been able to carry quite a few things on it. I've got all of my auxiliary lighting, my shovel that sort of works, etc., etc. And it has worked pretty well. But I've had one major issue, which I'll show you. One issue I've had with this rack consistently is right here, there's a little bit of an L bracket. Let's see if we can show you better. There's this L bracket right here. You can see right there, it goes all the way down. That's what supports the front of the roof rack onto the vehicle. You can see I've got a bunch of zip ties here holding it down because it actually snapped right there. And it's done this on me a couple of times now. And thankfully, you know, I've got the warranty with Prinsu, so they've been able to send me out replacement parts and whatnot. But the weight of this SS5 roof rack light bar is kind of a lot, and as you can tell with this design, we have one mounting point that spans all the way to more than halfway back on the rack. So this little guy is supporting a lot of weight, and it's not my favorite design, to be honest. And when I had my other light bar, it was a simple little light bar. It was totally fine, but with all the jumping and all of the weight on here, this is not quite cutting it anymore. So it's time to upgrade. So we're gonna begin the process. I think I'm gonna try and play with the new rack first, and then once we've got it kind of understood, we'll take this prinsu off and swap on a new roof rack. So let's see how this goes. So I will say this, I'm opening up right now, and the one thing we'll notice super quickly, if you come here to the prinsu, you can see, you know, it's pretty thin, I would say. It's not the thickest material ever. I want to say it's like 1/8 inch or something like that, maybe like 3/16 aluminum. But we come to this baseline rack, and it is 1/4 inch thick aluminum. So it's already quite a bit more rigid. I can kind of flex it a little bit, whereas the prinsu rail will slide all over the place and bend. So this is pretty sweet, to be honest. Alrighty, here we are. We've got everything unboxed. We've got our various mounting brackets that go to connect the side rails at these various points to the roof itself. And I can't exactly remember what these are, but we'll find out, I'm sure. These are our spacer blocks that lift these up. They're looks like rubber, thicker rubber. So that should help us on any vibrations or whatnot too. We got all of our brackets and bolts and hardware and everything. And then of course we've got the rails and the front wind fairing. So we'll try and work on this. Alrighty, we are almost ready to remove the rack. We've got the light bar out. We've got all the side lighting off. We've got all of the bolts disconnected. We have all of the wiring unzip tied. It's basically ready. We have the light bar back here dangling off. So we're basically ready to take this bad boy off and then start working on getting that one on. Unfortunately, I use a couple of extra bars, and I forgot to mention that to the company. So I'll be having a few more sent out, which is awesome. It's no big deal, thankfully. So for the time being, I'll be kind of running them a little bit more scarcely. I'll have the one on the back, 2 in the front, and then the 3 more kind of somewhere in the middle. Eventually I'll add a couple more in there, but should be good. So we'll figure it out. Now, one thing I do want to just be clarify with, this rack is a little bit wider than the prinsu rack is. So it'll actually extend out right around, I think it was 1.5 inches or like inch basically, further out on either side, which I think will actually look pretty good, you know, just a little bit further. It'll give me a little more space to put things on the roof. So I think that'll be pretty sweet. Yeah. Basically just lift it up. Alrighty, and just like that, she is naked. I don't hate the look. It looks a lot better in person than on camera, but it's definitely not my favorite. So we will definitely be putting a new rack on. Here is our old rack, still assembled because we're not going to be throwing this away. Even though we had this failure over here. Let's go take a look. You can see right here where it cracked. That's supposed to extend out further and have 2 holes to mount to the rail. You can kind of see that right there. But even though it failed, they did warranty that again. So I was able to get some replacements. And the new replacements, I'll show you later on, are redesigned a little bit, hopefully stronger than this. But nonetheless, I still don't trust it on this vehicle with that light bar. That thing's pretty hefty. So we will be throwing this beauty on here shortly. It is intended to be done with just nuts and bolts. With my prinsu, I've got plus nuts. Let's see. Oh, yeah. I've got plus nuts in there that need to be cleaned, but no big deal. So we're just going to modify the design or the installation and use these plus nuts. But up here in the front, it uses, the prinsu only uses 1 mounting bolt. But if you look right there, there's a second one that I just need to clean up and put a plus nut into. And then we'll have 2 mounting points in the front with the baseline rack. So this whole front section will get way more structure, or rather support, which I'm excited for. So we're gonna go ahead and grab some rags, clean the whole roof up. This is a perfect opportunity to get it all clean and good. And you know, with the rack on there, it's a lot harder to get it clean, as you can tell by that line. All of this is under the rack, and all of this is forward of the rack. So we're gonna go ahead and clean it up good now, and then work on putting another plus nut right there. So here we go. We've got most of the spacers off from the roof. These are what space the rack away from the roof. One thing that Baseline does instead of these little metal spacers is they use these rubber blocks, which should actually absorb a little bit of vibration. So any wind noise or any rattling on the roof should actually be dampened just a little bit more. And make it a little bit quieter of a rack, which is exciting. This is totally just my speculation, but that's what I'm gonna anticipate from these rubber mounts. So, and now that we get a chance to look in here at where that one bracket broke off, you can actually see, if we get this thing to zoom in properly, there's actually a little crack right there, and that's from all of that weight, that stress from the singular mount. So I am very thankful that we're going to be changing that from a single to a double mount. It'll be a lot, yeah, there we go. A single mount to a double. It should be a lot stronger. There's a little bit of leaking that I was getting from that, a little water intrusion. So we'll make sure it's sealed up nice and good with the sealant before we put the rack back together. But yeah, this is why I'm choosing to upgrade to a double mount and the baseline system rather than the prinsu system on this particular vehicle. Prinsu, I think, is still very good, but once you have a little extra weight, maybe from tent or whatever, I think this is going to be a lot stronger for my needs. So, alrighty, she's relatively cleaned up now. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break for lunch and see if I can find some more plus nuts. I just need 2 of them to complete the rack, and then we'll throw it on. So, basically, alrighty, we are ready to do the next step. I'm going to be reusing my prinsu hardware just since I already have my plus nuts in. We've added one additional one right there on either side, which should help quite a bit with some strength. This is the bracket that's going to go there. Should be quite a bit stronger, which I'm excited for. But we're going to go ahead and put some Flex Seal. Let me grab that for you real quick. So we love using the Flex Shot Flex Seal in this particular little squeezy can. Makes it super easy to put it where you want it and not have a ton of mess. You don't need a caulk gun or anything like that, and it works really well, especially up here in the PNW with all of our rain and snow and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and lay some down into that hole, all up in the hole of the spacer here, and then we'll slowly start attaching all these loosely, not all the way down. We'll do both sides, and we'll do the side plates as well, and then we'll attach the rails and go from there. So I'll come back to this once all of these are sprayed. Alrighty, so you can see I've sprayed down a generous amount of this Flex Shot. This is an older can I have leftovers of, but we're just gonna go ahead and place our little rubber block right on top of that. Get it kind of lined up, and then I'll fill that in, and then we'll place everything on top. So this should be good. Alrighty, and here you can see we've got it on. It's loose still, so we can kind of adjust it wherever it needs to go. But you can see that spacer's in there with a little bit of silicone, a little Flex Seal. So we'll do the rest. And there we go. We've got all 4 of them on this side. Now we'll do the other side and then put the rail on. Alrighty, here we go. It got a little bit fast paced, just trying to make sure everything was put together before it was curing. But basically we ended up throwing these on right here, the side pieces. I put basically a couple of these, every other hole basically to hold it down. And then got the other side on. With the help of Carrie, we were able to get these rails attached. So I had tightened all the rails down, have them relatively evenly spaced, got them all tight. Then I went ahead and tightened down these bad boys as well. And that kind of cinched everything together. And then I made sure everything was relatively straight down the line. And then I went through and tightened all of the actual roof bolts. And that kind of cinched everything together. Obviously it's still drying, but so far it is sturdy as all get out. I think it looks pretty dang nice. I still need to put the light bar on and everything, but it looks just a little bit more aggressive than the prinsu before me. Kind of feels a little bit dainty in comparison. So I'm pretty excited about this. I will say this is the prototype version, or version 2 prototype. So 2 of the holes were in a slightly different spot than they should have been. So I had to drill some new ones, but that'll obviously be fixed in the production model. But this thing is pretty freaking sweet. Like I said, it's way, way stronger. It's just a little bit wider. I think it fits the vehicle really nicely. So we'll keep getting it all tied together, let it cure overnight, and then check it out tomorrow. Alrighty, it's several days later. We got most of it done the other night, but then we went on a little journey to pick something fun up over there. A day and a half later, here we are. Got the baseline overland rack on. It's not quite 100% finished. I got to put 2 more handles on the other side, but other than that, all the lights are on, wired up. Maybe gonna deal with the management later, because whatever, but it works. And we've got the rack on the front, or the light bar on the front and everything, and she's looking pretty damn clean, guys. I'm pretty happy about this, not gonna lie. It feels quite a bit stronger than the old rack. It's way clean. I like the ability to kind of mount wherever I want. I did end up drilling some mounting holes right here, like I did on the Prinsu, just to custom mount a rail for these light bars, or for these SS5s, to get them at the right height. But other than that, it is here and ready to go. So we'll be adventuring this weekend a little bit, so should be exciting. All right, we've had some time now with the baseline overland roof rack. I've got to say, it's been really awesome. There's almost no rattling, no noise like that. There's a little bit of wind noise, but to be honest, I'm pretty sure that's from the light bar. But everything mounted up great. You know, it's been super strong. The other day it carried a like 20-foot tree on the roof of it. This thing has been pretty damn awesome. I am very happy with it. And if you're looking for something a little bit more durable than the Prinsu, a little bit beefier in my opinion, I think it kind of matches the lines a little bit better on this vehicle. And the install is arguably easier. I would definitely recommend them. Hopefully I'm going to get this video out in time. But until the end of the year, there is an opportunity to get a solid discount using my code SILVERBULLETXV, which I'll put somewhere up here probably, hopefully. But hopefully you guys, if you're interested, can check these guys out for yourself, for your Crosstrek, or a couple other vehicles as well that they make. So hopefully you found this video interesting, and if not, let me know. If you did find it interesting, also let me know, because I'm just trying to make some cool stuff for you guys. So anyways, this is the end of it all, but I absolutely love this rack, and it will be my rack for the foreseeable future because it is holding up absolutely great. So anyways, until next time.